Welcome to the Young AmeriTowne 2017-2018 Teacher Refresher. Thank you for taking the time to watch this. If you have any questions after watching this video, please feel free to contact us. Email is the best way to get a hold of us. Our organization began in 1987 with our bank. Bill Daniels, a local entrepreneur and philanthropist, read an article about kids wanting a bank loan and were denied. This sparked a desire to start the bank. In 1990, our programs got started with Young AmeriTowne. And as you can see on our map, we've continued to branch out from solely free enterprise to now global economics, entrepreneurship, and most recently, philanthropy. Before we discuss the changes that have been made to Young AmeriTowne this year, I want to take a minute to highlight some reminders for you. When preparing for your day in Young AmeriTowne, please remember our 2 locations and communicate to your parent volunteers and bus drivers which location your school will be visiting. If you are unsure of which location you are attending, please check your contract. If you will be going to the Belmar facility, please remember that there is also a bank branch out there now. Construction will be wrapping up during the fall semester, so if your school is attending this year, please be aware that there may be signs indicating alternative entrances to the building to accommodate completion of our bank. Parking has remained the same at our headquarters location. However, with new parking meters installed in the Cherry Creek Shopping Center, bus drivers will now need to communicate that they are with Young American Center in order to gain free access to the parking lot. Our curriculum planning table has remained the same, allowing teachers the option to decide which tier format is right for them based on their time constraints. We recommend that Tier 2 be taught in order to provide comprehensive preparation for your students for their day in town. Please communicate with Jeremy the economy size for your day in town. As a reminder, the minimum number of students needed to run town is 60, and we can accommodate groups up to 120. If your group size is more than 125, you will need to schedule 2 dates. Accurate economy size is vital to ensure a successful day in town. Therefore, if your group size increases by more than 5, please contact Jeremy. When placing students, please use position assignment sheets for your economy size. Jobs with asterisks next to them are additional positions if needed. After announcing job results to your students, please have them fill out a deposit slip for their paycheck. Managers, accountants, the mayor, and the judge all receive a paycheck of $30, and all other employees receive $25. Regardless of position, all paycheck deposit slips should reflect a $10 deposit, with the remainder of their check being given in cash. We have found that students who have not completed this step back at school have a much harder time remembering how to complete their deposit slip in town, which then delays their break time activities. Remember that students do not need to tear out their paycheck deposit slip until they arrive at Young AmeriTowne and are ready to go on break. As you're preparing for your day in Young AmeriTowne, please remember the following items. We request that teachers collect the $5 deposit slips from their students, their $1 savings checks, student investment applications, shop folders, business checkbooks, and please remember to bring a sack lunch. For your students, please make sure they have the following items with them when they arrive at Young AmeriTowne: their student checkbook, their debit card, shop postcards, and a sack lunch. Parents are welcome to volunteer the day of your trip to Young AmeriTowne. However, they are not essential. Therefore, you can decide if you would like to bring them. If you choose to bring volunteers, please keep in mind that we only allow 1 volunteer per shop that is open during the day of your visit. Therefore, if your group is at a 60 economy, there are 13 volunteers that we can allow. If your group is at a 70 economy, there are 14 volunteers allowed, and groups 80 and higher, 17 volunteers are allowed. When preparing your volunteers to attend Young AmeriTowne, please remind them that they need to show up a half an hour before your school will be arriving. Please remember to tell them which location you'll be attending Remind them that they need to bring a sack lunch, as we do not have a microwave or refrigerator. When they arrive at Young AmeriTowne, if you have not already pre-assigned them, we will assign them to a shop that is near their students. You might want to consider telling your parent volunteers that we will not put them in the same shop as their student, but we will put them as close as possible to them. We remind our parent volunteers that we want them to take a business consultant approach, therefore asking a question to a student in their shop to get them to come up with their own answer is what we're asking of our volunteers. Included in your curriculum is a volunteer orientation packet. If you choose to print that out, you can give that to your volunteers to look through, or you can have them go online at www.yacenter.org and they can watch a 10-minute volunteer orientation video that will prepare them for their day in Young AmeriTowne with your students. After your day in town, please remember to send assessment results back to us, which include pre- and post-test results, student evaluations, check register rubrics, and a teacher follow-up questionnaire. Reporting forms are included in your curriculum. The assessment results that you send us allow us to provide this information to sponsors and donors and help us keep our costs down. We've made several changes to our curriculum and Day of Town processes. We have updated our webinars, including our teacher refresher and our volunteer orientation. We have also created a teacher orientation webinar, which is available on Dropbox for more in-depth information on our curriculum. We have kept our classroom webinars, including Introduction to Investing, the Young AmeriTowne Town Tour, and how to use your debit card. We have added some debit card practice to our curriculum and have created an activity called Mastering Your Checking Account. This will help your students practice some of the activities that they may be doing on their breaks in town. We have updated our signature card format. We now only require your students to write their first name and last initial. Please mail these back to our headquarters location at least 2 weeks before your scheduled day in town. Our town charities have been updated this year. For headquarters, our charities this year are the Susan M. Duncan Family YMCA, the Ronald McDonald House, Conservation Colorado, Denver Art Museum, Denver Club of Humanities, and Life Stories Child and Family Advocacy. At Belmar, our charities this year are Habitat for Humanity, Ralston House, Greenwood Wildlife Rehabilitation Center, Think 360 Arts for Learning, Denver Club of Humanities, and Make-A-Wish Colorado. As always, we have write-ups on each of these charities that are included in your curriculum. We have shortened the beginning of the day announcements to allow more time for your students to be trained in their shops. Because of this, it might be helpful to encourage your students to visit all of the shops on their break in order to gain information on products and services. The accountant materials will look slightly different this year. We are incorporating an online bill pay system in town. This will allow your accountant to transfer funds electronically for their shop expenses rather than writing checks for all of them. As always, a Young AmeriTowne staff person will be there to guide them through this process. This will allow accountants to be able to focus on the supply and demand aspect of their job, as well as serve as support to their manager as second in command. Please note, the accountants will still be responsible for writing their employee paychecks back at school, and they will still write their bank loan repayment check and charity check in town. After your day in town, the primary contact teacher will receive an email with a private link allowing you to access all of the footage recorded by the TV station, as well as the pictures that the college yearbook photographer takes. Once you have received the link, it will remain on our Dropbox for 60 days. You may download and share videos and photos at your discretion. We are thankful for continued support from our sponsors as well as new sponsors this year, which include Schomp at Belmar and Lutheran Medical Center at Belmar. These sponsors help make improvements and upgrades to our shops each year, and we are so thankful for their support. Thank you so much for taking the time to view this teacher refresher for the 2017-2018 school year. If you have additional questions, please feel free to email us. If you have additional questions regarding certain lessons in the curriculum, I encourage you to go on Dropbox and view our teacher orientation webinar, which will give you further information on any of the lessons and activities that I've talked about in this refresher. Thank you so much for watching, and we look forward to seeing you this year.